This is our Scholar Applicant Open House for Present Scholars program. We're going to do a presentation over a little bit about the Center for Scholars, which houses the Present Scholars program, as well as the Present Scholars program, answer some of the questions that we did get submitted to us by some of you, and then allow some time for you all to ask questions of some of our current scholars who will be joining us. I think we have 2 of them who will be joining us today, and that will be probably towards the later half of our hour today. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Jamie Hamilton. I'm the Assistant Director in the Center for Scholars, and we also have Darcy Anderson and Aisa here as well. Darcy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Darcy Anderson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Senior Program Coordinator here in the Center for Scholars. So I handle all of the academic and non-academic programming for the center and work with all of the 6 scholar groups that are involved in our center, including President Scholars, which you're all here for today. And let me hand it over to Aisa.
Hello, everybody. My name is Aisa Bugarin, she, her, ella pronouns. I am the Academic Retention and Graduation Coordinator here with Center for Scholars. Fun fact, I was also an Abrego Future Scholar, so that's another program that is part of the Center for Scholars.
I can do this. Oh my gosh. There. Okay, good. I did hit it. The little screen slides up out of the way and I can't see it anymore. I'm like, no, my buttons are gone. Okay, so that is our team that's joining us today. And we're gonna go ahead and go through our presentation just to give you all an overview. The picture you're seeing on the screen today is representative of students from our incoming programs for all of our different scholar programs. And this was taken last summer when we were all on campus, and we'll talk a bit further in the presentation about that as well to explain how we got all these fun people together the summer before classes started. But I first want to highlight a bit about the Center for Scholars, since we are one of these sub-programs. Present Scholars is one of the programs in that, just so you get an understanding of what this larger thing you're a part of is. So the Center for Scholars has a mission that is to promote the culture of inclusion that embraces diversity and individual uniqueness. We provide transformational opportunities to cultivate broader learning, leadership, and personal growth. And so really what we want is for all the students in all of our different programs to understand more about the world beyond their perspective, to understand what it might be like to be in someone else's shoes, to come from someone else's background, to just broaden your understanding. One, it makes you a better person as you engage in the world, but it also helps you professionally and personally. So you get to have a broader connection and community than you may have had independent of this opportunity. And so that's really our goal. And then our next slide highlights our team. So our team is shown up here. Our director is Dr. Trista O'Connell, who's actually covering our center today. So she is not here with us. And then myself, and then we will be adding another director for Guardian Scholars and some other teams. And I'll explain a little bit about what that Guardian Scholars program is. And then our team beneath that is Darcy and Aisa, and our 2 student support coaches, Leanne and Moises. And we also have our student assistant team that's listed up there. And then we're hiring an admin analyst. And then we also have a unique partnership where we have someone who is dedicated as a CAPS, which is our Counseling and Psychological Services department here on campus. We have a liaison or a CAPS case manager or counselor. And so that's really a unique opportunity where we get to partner directly with them to address the needs and concerns of students that are coming up. So sometimes it's one-to-one, like we have a student who is needing some individualized support, but sometimes there's a collective thing going on with our students and they're talking about, like, we would really benefit from a stress management workshop or something like that. And so we partner with that CAPS counselor or liaison to make that opportunity available to you all. So you have a lot of, as a scholar, would have a lot of opportunity to speak to what opportunities from our CAPS liaison would be like. And they are going to be fun. We have one now and we're going to be hiring, there'll be a permanent person hired soon for that as well. So yay, that is our team, small but mighty. And then this is about our scholar programs. And so we're actually running selection for 3 of our scholar programs right now. Aisa already mentioned our Abrego Future Scholars program, or AFS, and that is a 2-year scholarship and support services program for our historically underrepresented first-generation college students. They get a scholarship of $1,500 for 2 years. And so some of you may have applied to multiple of these opportunities or other opportunities as well. One thing I will highlight that I did not share yet is that these scholar programs are separate from our honors programs. So I didn't mention that, but we do share an application with them. So we do partner with them a lot. And so you can often share with us like, oh yeah, I'm in this. And we're like, got it. I know what that is. So we do have a familiarity with those programs, but we are separate from those programs. Our Guardian Scholars program is a scholarship and student support services program to current and former foster youth. And so their scholarship opportunity is determined by their financial aid, and we work directly with the students and financial aid to make that opportunity available to them. And then President Scholars, which is what we're here to talk about today, is our scholarship program for high achieving merit scholars. It's a tuition-based scholarship and support services for the duration of the 4 years. Currently, our full-time tuition is set at $3,000. I think I have a different number on another slide, which I should have checked. It's just over that number, and that's per semester. And then also the book, excuse me, the book amount I listed, I now realize I put it wrong on the slides on the next page. So this is fun. I'm doing really well today, everyone. But you do get support for books as well as your tuition. And then our other programs we support is our My Future Pathways Scholars. They receive a scholarship. They are tuitions, they're transfer students from OCC, so Orange Coast Community College. We also support our Nicholas Academic Center Scholars. They are students that are part of a Nicholas Academic Centers throughout Santa Ana. And then Sun Scholars, which is a program that is students who were a part of AVID at some point in their academic career, and their specific AVID scholarships being funded by the Sun Scholar programs. And that's just a quick capture there. What we also like to talk about too for the Center for Scholars is our support model. So we know that you all are here for this main thing in the center, right? You're here to study and to get a degree. So CSUF academics is core of what you all do. But we're not naive. We know that there's all this other stuff going on around you. So that's what the other bubbles are referring to. So things like finances, housing, basic needs, physical, mental health, life skills, career preparation, community connections, personal identity formation. So all these different things impact you much like they would anywhere else in the world too. So you have your core of what's going on, but all this other stuff impacts what you're trying to do and the goals that you have. And so we like to have holistic conversations with our students so that we can make sure that you have those needs met and that you're getting the support that you need to be successful. And so sometimes it's just having a chat about like, what are the housing options available to me? And then you're like, okay, I'm good to go. Or sometimes we need to have like a really deep conversation about building community connections or working through like maybe you're having issues with a roommate and you just need to chat it out with somebody. So we can help to model that or coach that out with you. And sometimes it's helping you get connected to fully external resources. So like employment and finances, getting connected with our career center or possibly financial aid to identify some resources. So we try to do what we can within what the resources we have, but then also being aware of the resources available beyond and getting you connected to those in our broader campus community. So our holistic support services I kind of touched upon a bit, but it's our academic development and support. So those are things like scholarships, our academic coaching, which Aisa and Darcy do, our retention services, looking at things that we can do to help make sure your classes don't get dropped and all these things that you're not paying attention to. You're trying to get your classes done. So we try to intervene with some of the logistic things that may be happening across campus. Providing priority registration to our President Scholars is a big part of that. And then also in our space we have here on campus, we're currently in the library, we have study spaces, we have a computer lab, we provide reprinting, we have testing supplies, and then based on our different scholar communities, there's textbook assistance. So you all potentially as President Scholars would have that available to you. We also work with developing professional development because we know often for those of you, this is the goal here is getting your degree so you can get jobs in your career fields. And so we work with our Career Center to identify opportunities. One of those is our Scholar to Professional program, which we'll talk about another slide, working on things like grad school preparation. So starting those conversations early, if that's something you're interested in, talking about career readiness. And then we have class level programming where we try to develop things that kind of touch upon what might be needed at where you're at academically, so that we're not maybe jumping too far ahead, but also not forgetting something that we should be paying attention to in our career, our college experience. And then we really focus on personal development and sense of belonging. So looking at how are ways that we can help you with emergency needs or basic needs, mental health services, social programming. We have our Scholar Smart Start program, which we will talk about in another slide, and then our senior celebration. So how do we make community with all of our students, and how do we have you stay connected to campus and find this experience enjoyable overall? So we talked about I talked about Scholar Smart Start. That's part of our incoming scholar support. So if you were to be selected as a President Scholar, we work a lot to ensure that you're aware of our campus deadlines and events, things that are coming up. And we work with financial aid to ensure that they're aware that you'll be receiving a scholarship. So that way they put some indicators on there, and then you kind of have a better understanding of what might your financial aid package look like. And then we also review our scholar requirements with our students and start to provide you our Center for Scholars resources and support as needed. So if you're here for a day and you need help with something, we try to get you set up with different resources. We also have our Supporter Welcome Day, which is part of our Scholar Smart Start program. So Supporter Welcome Day is where we bring students, parents or supporters to kind of learn about this stuff we're talking about today. So what does it mean to be a scholar? What would the student's experience be like? What can a parent or a supporter of a student expect that their student's going to be doing here on campus for a whole entire week, which is what Scholar Smart Start is. And then beyond, what kinds of things are we asking these young people to engage in? And so Scholar Smart Start is our 1 week residential program for incoming scholars. There is a 1 week long, 1 unit academic skills prep course, kind of, where you are learning about Cal State Fullerton things, but also college skills. So you're learning about, like, what does the library do? How do I get involved in the library? What are the resources? Oftentimes, I think we know the campus we're at right now, but then when we switch campuses, it's like, I have to learn a whole new language. I have to learn all the new resources. And so this really helps you start off strong, knowing all the different places across campus, knowing how to utilize them. So when someone starts talking about it in class, you're ready to take advantage of that opportunity. You don't need to wait for someone to introduce it to you. And then you often end up being that person introducing it to other people, which is kind of exciting because you then get to step into that leadership role. And then we also do some co-curricular activities. So there's fun things throughout the week, but we like to cap it off with the most exciting thing at the end of the week, where we go to Disney and participate in the Disney Imagination Campus event or activity. And so we do a whole tour of Disneyland, actually, participate in a leadership development opportunity, and then we get to have fun in the park. So it's the highlight of our summer, and it really helps students get excited about coming to campus. Whether or not you get to be a student who lives on campus, you kind of get to taste what that experience would be like by engaging in that opportunity. And it's totally free to all of our incoming scholars, which is great too. So you get to enjoy all of that, get excited about college, take a little bit of a break off, and then we come right back to starting off the fall semester. So you're ready to go and excited to join all of us in our spaces. So, excuse me, one of our questions we had was about the scholar expectations. So I want to make sure I go over this. We have a virtual space that we utilize for our students called our Center for Scholars Canvas Community. And it's really a place for you to keep track of your scholar requirements, which is what some would also refer to as expectations. And so of those requirements, there are things like a pre-semester survey, which is done each semester. And it's really just to identify where you're at. What are you needing? What support can we help you with? Sometimes we use that collectively to be like, are all of our sophomores kind of going through a similar thing? Are our third year students really needing support in a specific way? Are all of our students really needing this resource? So we can identify ways we can develop a program, event, activity for that. Or is it a one-to-one thing? Is there a specific student needing a specific need? So you may or may not get a follow-up from us about that. And then the Scholar Success Plan. That's a tool that we've created for you, for the student to use to develop what's your plan for the semester? What are you doing besides obviously going to class? What's the broader goal? What are you wanting to do to help you reach long-term goals, because sometimes that you need that little bit of motivation to stay focused and connected beyond like getting good grades in your classes. Sometimes you need a micro goal, a goal beneath that, even like a weekly goal, a monthly goal. So this kind of helps you look at what are those micro goals that are going to help you stay on track for your long-term goal. And then we ask our students to participate in academic advising at least once a year. Again, so that you're staying on track. We know that many of you are coming in with college credit already, and that can often fast track some of your college experience. And so having regular academic advising can help you take advantage of opportunities of campus and help you learn, maybe I don't need to take this many units, or maybe I can pick up a minor, maybe I can do something more than I thought I could do because of these units I'm bringing in. Or if you're not bringing in units, is that okay? Maybe I'm going to take some summer classes so I can take advantage of other opportunities, or maybe I'm going to increase my enrollment load so that I can stay on track with my desired graduation target. And then we ask along with that students complete and maintain an educational plan. Again, it's pretty similar to things you may have seen in high school, but it's for you to have a tool that works for you that maps out all the things you need to do to complete your degree, including stuff that may not necessarily be in your degree, but maybe it's for your career. So if you wanted to go into the teaching field and you wanted to get a teaching credential, your teaching credential prerequisite courses may not be listed in your degree, but we can help you build that into your educational plan. So you're taking advantage of opportunities. Or if you're pre-med, maybe those pre-med courses may not be included in your traditional educational plan, but we can build that in, help you build that in. So you're really taking advantage of different opportunities and making the best like financial, but also logical choices for your specific plan. And then we want you to like have fun, build in some experiences, take off a semester. Maybe you want to find a goal like, I really want to study abroad. When could I fit that into my plan? So we can help you look at those types of things as well. And this is an evolving, growing plan. That's why it's complete and maintain, so that you have it ongoing. And some people end up with like multiple plans. Here's plan A, plan B, plan C, and that's fine too. There's no one way to do it. There's multiple ways, and we want you to do the way that suits you best. And then we ask our students to complete personal and professional development hours. Previously, this was just community service, but we've expanded this to really be more inclusive. So it could include community service, but it also could be professional development or personal development. So maybe it's volunteering at your church or participating in church activities, if that's something that's important to you. Maybe it is being a part of a student club and taking on a leadership role. Maybe it's just going to workshops in your college or career center. And it's 6 hours each semester, which is pretty doable if you think about it. It's not, a lot of things are an hour and a half. You could even find some like YouTube training series if you really want to learn a specific skill and you couldn't find a course on it, but you found something on YouTube. That's fine. This is, again, for you to do these things to help set you up on your goals that you have. And then again, we have listed here, make progress towards degree. So we expect that our present scholars enroll in and complete 12 units each semester. So that's pretty doable. That is full-time enrollment, which many of you need to be at least full-time enrolled to continue on getting other resources. So that's not anything too out of the realm of possibilities. And then our academic goal alongside that is maintaining a cumulative GPA of 3.5. So that is pretty reasonable as well. Hold on one second. Excuse me. Okay. So we look at that on a scale, right? We don't expect you to come in immediately and be able to just keep up the academic rigor right off the bat. You're stepping into a new experience. And so we like to make sure that we are accommodating some transitional issues. So it's a little bit more specific. If you were to be selected as a present scholar, you would see that we adjust this a little bit to allow for some transition issues. But the long-term goal is that you're graduating with 3.5 cumulative GPA, which is a really strong GPA. It sets you up extremely highly if grad school is in your horizons or other things of that nature. It also sets you up if you're trying to compete for competitive scholarships or other opportunities. So we really want our scholars to be competitive academically. Wrong slide. Okay. So our present scholars benefits. So our benefits are the scholarship, as I mentioned earlier. So it's currently at $3,539.17 a semester. Very precise, but that is the cost of tuition in state. So this scholarship is provided in addition to any other financial aid a student might be eligible for. So if a student is taking out a loan, receiving a grant, or outside scholarships, this would be provided in addition to it. With financial aid, we do have to work with them because they do put a cap on how much financial aid a student can get. So we try to be good partners with them and be upfront with them as well as you. My goal always is to provide students as much free money as possible. You earned it, you might as well get it. So let's make that opportunity available to the students. And then, let's see here. And then the scholarship for books and supplies, I listed it as $7,500 each semester. That's incorrect. It's annually $7,500. Students also get, in the Present Scholars program, they get access to a parking permit each fall and spring semester. That is currently at $334 a semester. They also get to borrow a laptop, a Mac or Dell laptop for their use during the program if they'd like, and that's up to $1,000 in value. Our students get the earliest priority registration that is offered on campus. That's actually really huge benefit. Our honor students previously had the earliest registration appointment. You get an hour before them, which sounds like not that much, but on our campus, it's huge. You get in there, you get access before anybody else. Sometimes it means all the present scholars register for all the honors classes before anybody else gets to. Sometimes it means you get to have prime pick of the professors that you want. And so we highly encourage our students to be prepared so they can take advantage of that opportunity. And that hour makes a huge difference. And then our present scholars have actually created a student organization on our campus. There are so many student organizations for nearly everything on campus, but our present scholars have their own. And one of their leaders is actually here today, and we'll probably talk about that a bit. But they put on their own activities, both social, volunteer, community-based activities where they just come together. And then they also have their peer mentoring program that they run as well. So you have instant community on campus by being a part of our program. And you can even find them on social. I can't remember their Instagram right now, but I'm sure Kara will know and probably will drop it in the chat in a bit. And then we also have access to the Center for Scholars, as I mentioned earlier. So lots of different benefits and resources to our President Scholars. And this is one of our capstone programs. So at the end of your scholar experience would be our Scholar to Professional program. This year we have 90 scholars graduating, which is a really high cohort of scholars from all of our different scholar communities. And they get to engage in different graduating senior activities. So we have them talk about what their next step is, whether that's grad school, employment, helping set them up with revising their resumes, updating their LinkedIn profiles, taking a headshot, a professional headshot, getting them ready for those graduations so that we can celebrate them. And each scholar receives graduation regalia. So it's the cap and gown, the sash, they get a sash that says their scholar program that they were a part of. And then they also get a lifetime alumni association membership, which comes with its own benefits, which are also really wonderful. Like you get to come back to campus, there's free parking provided for events, there's access to the career center. So even if you like pause on taking advantage of that after you graduate, you can come back and utilize that, which is nice. And then we have our graduation reception celebration. So again, a specific time for you to come together with the scholar community and celebrate graduation with your friends and family. Yay. Okay, so some of the other questions we got were about our scholar selection timeline and our applicant dates, yes, for applicants. And so our honors and scholars application opened up in November, it closed on March 2nd. We're currently in our application review period. Interviews will occur next week. If you get me ready for that, it blows my mind that that's happening. So ideally tomorrow, I will be sending out information to those who are selected to participate in interviews, and you will be able to sign up for those times. You will be able to actually pick in person or Zoom. So we will have the option for you. And Either way, you will receive information on how you can participate in your interview and notices. Yes. And then we will be creating kind of a tiered system with it. So it'll be the first batch, then we will do alternates should someone decline. And then there will be students who will receive a regret, which means they will not be provided an interview. And then we wanted to make sure we shared some important campus dates for incoming students, which are coming up very, very soon. So April 15th is Experience CSUF, or Becoming a Titan Day. That is a day we have it's like a giant big open house on campus where different college departments as well as student organizations, campus departments will be available providing information for students. So it's huge. Isa can talk a lot about it, I'm sure, but it's our big event across campus. And it's great if you're kind of wanting to learn a little bit more before May 1st, which is the deadline to accept your admission and register for orientation. So we really want students to pay attention to these deadlines and these upcoming events, because if you miss a deadline, unfortunately, there is very little that you can do to change that, to make that up, to appeal it. There are appeal options. How successful they are, I don't have the statistics on that. So we really want to make sure that you're getting those deadlines in, submitting things early if you can, so that you are not maybe missing a deadline. And then following up on things. If you don't hear back from folks in a timely manner, follow up. It never hurts to ask. You will then be sure if you ask. So always ask your questions. And then someone asked a bit too about the how many students are in our pools, how many will get offered interviews, and how many students will receive offers. So in our present scholars specifically, which is the last row, we had 127 applications this year. 40 of those students will be receiving interviews. And then of that pool of 40, 15 will get offers. We do a rolling offer system. So if someone gets offered it and declines it, we then go on to the next student until all 15 spots are filled. And we will hopefully, notify students pretty quickly after the interviews occur of that process. It's pretty quick because I need to get going on it. I need to get that information to you all so that you can start making your decisions. So mid-April, you will know things. Okay. The interview overview. So you will be asked to confirm or decline your interview participation by completing a survey. It may be that you just fill out like a little form of like, yes, this is what I want my interview to be. So we'll look and see what that specifically will look like. And then you'll get some details regarding your interview. Should it be in person or virtual? And you, depending on what you get from us, you may get offered an interview to multiple programs. From the Center for Scholars, you can only be in one program, but you could be in honors, business honors, as well as President Scholars. Many of our students are in multiple programs. And then the interviews will include members of our selection committee, which include donors, there's alumni, current scholars, and it's a big group of folks that I try to get it down to just a couple of us. And they're just really eager to meet you all. And sometimes it can be a little overwhelming and intimidating to walk into a room of several folks, like 10 people. I can't keep them away. I really try. Sometimes I try to be sneaky and move the interview to another room so I just stop overwhelming the incoming students, but they just love meeting you all. So don't be intimidated. They're a fun bunch who really just want to get to know you and ask you questions. And so the interview will consist of a couple of things. We'll go around with introductions. So you'll get to know who are all these people in the room and why are they all here. And then you'll get to share a bit about yourself too. And then you'll be asked a variety of different questions. They kind of are some of the standard interview questions, but some of them too are just to figure out like, what are your goals? What are you interested in your major? Why have you chosen Cal State Fullerton or the Scholar Program? Sharing more about your general interests and goals and values. They want to know about who you are, and they want to find students that will be a good fit for our program. So don't be shy about sharing who you are and the things, and what if something's like really hit you today or another time where you've met someone, feel free to share that with them. They love to hear why you've chosen this program, why you've chosen to apply to Cal State Fullerton. That's really inspiring to them to hear how you're inspired to be a part of our programs. And then if you're virtual, here's some tips. I did not put in the in-person interview tips, but they're pretty similar. Testing your technology. So making sure you've got everything all set up. You all are pretty Zoom savvy at this point, but if you come in person, making sure you know where you're going, having your maps. We get you some details as well, but you may want to kind of get here early. And so making sure that you are keeping your identity semi-professional. Same thing if you're coming in person, dressing for success. We don't expect you to come in like a full suit or anything, but stepping it up a little bit, polishing up the look definitely helps people take you a little seriously. And then creating a scene. So if you're doing it virtual and making sure your background represents you in the ways you'd want and not super distracting, using a background if you want to. If you're coming in person, maybe you leave all your stuff in your car and just bring a small little bit of things with you so that you're not plopping all your stuff all over the table or things like that. And then monitoring your body language. So ensuring, and this is sometimes one of those things you have to practice with folks so that you can ensure that you are demonstrating the characteristics you want to demonstrate to folks. But the big thing we talk about is with us and students share is being authentic. Just come in as yourself, shake off the nerves a little bit. We try to warm you up a bit too, so that you kind of laugh a bit before you get started, because we try not to be so serious and intimidating. And then if you're being virtual or coming in person, limiting your distractions. So making sure your phone's on mute, you kind of eliminate all those different things that are kind of gonna get in your head and bug you. Put all that stuff away just so you can focus and really have a good time and a good interview. So I'm going to go over some of the questions from applicants, and I'm happy to have the team or some of the students that are here share their answers, but I shared a bit already. So our first question was, how are applicants selected for the Present Scholars Program? So we went over that. I don't know if anything further. Darcy, do you think there's anything else to add? I know. I feel like
I don't think so, but I think as people have questions, other things may come up. But I think you did a lot of really good coverage. Cool. And I'm about to put the Instagram for the Present Scholars into our chat as well.
Oh, good. Yay, Instagrams all the time. And then are you interviewed to receive the scholarship or interviewed once you've already gotten it? It's before. So we interview before you get it. So it's like an interview to potentially get the opportunity to receive the scholarship. After you join the scholar program, there are opportunities, but they're not as like formal in that way. It's a different type of formal, I guess. And then when are applicants notified that they've been accepted? So we will be having interviews next week, which is just unbelievable. I didn't even put that in because my brain hadn't logged that was coming up so quickly. Once we have spring break, it's like everything rolls downhill, and our spring break was last week. So everything is going way too fast. And then shortly after the interviews, we will start notifying students. So it will be like very fast, within days that students will know. Our interviews will be Monday through Thursday next week. And then on Friday, I will start tabulating the data and contacting students. So we try to go pretty fast with things. And the rate of entry to the program, so I kind of shared that. It's about, the first batch is like a third of the applicants. I didn't do the actual math. So, but it's pretty competitive depending on our pool. But yeah, it's a pretty competitive process. And then someone said, is it bad to be in more than one program at Cal State Fullerton? Kira, what do you think?
Definitely not. My name's Kira, I'm a senior. And yeah, in like my 4 years, I've been involved in quite a few things on and off campus. So definitely stay involved and use this as like your benefit. If you're looking at grad school, even if you're just looking at going directly into a career, it's really important that these experiences that you get in college will really just help you get that better job that you want straight out of college, rather than having to work your way up all the time.
Donna, what do you think about being involved in more than one program?
No, it's definitely not a bad thing at all. If anything, it's like a really good thing to be involved. And then if anything too, being in Press Scholars, you're kind of already connected to that network, since so many of our scholars are involved like all over campus. So you'll meet like the upperclassmen who are involved in different things. And since you already know someone there, it's so much easier to get involved in that specific program. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing, and it's a lot easier once you're a Pres Scholar to do it.
Yay. Okay. The next slide is financial support given on a need basis. No, it's not, with an asterisk. So sometimes if a student's receiving a lot of financial aid, there may be some adjustments to that award, but it's not common. The financial support is given based on merit, so not need. Let's see. Will you get a chance to find out about internship opportunities through this program? Yes, you will. And sometimes it's through formal ways of us sending out notices we get from different outside external areas, internal campus departments, or some of our centers. But then also it's like word of mouth, which more often than not is like the main way most folks find out about lots of different opportunities on campus, is just like they had a peer mentor who knew somebody who was doing that thing that student wanted to do, who told them, and suddenly now you're in a research lab as a freshman. Different things happen all the time for our students. So if there's something that you want to be a part of or engaged in, more than likely you will find the opportunity faster than you can ask somebody about it, because it just ends up in your lap. So it's not a formal internship opportunity, but definitely it happens for folks. Internships, jobs, research opportunities to be on some of our more cool programs, like Kira is part of our speech and debate team, right? No.
The moot court program, which
Moot
is like
court.
mock trial.
Yes, I get it wrong every time. So
And
there's different.
TEDx.
Oh yeah, she did TEDx too. She made it. So if you want a club, we don't have a club, you can make a club, and then it can run a big event every year or every semester. Is it year or semester?
It's a year.
Still
But we
too
have
much.
things going on every semester.
And then you can also get involved in ASI and other different opportunities. Jenna's been involved in our ASI as well, which is our student governing board here on campus. So if there's something that you have done in high school that you want to continue to do, that opportunity exists here on campus. But if it's something you haven't done that you want to engage in, or something new, we will be able to find that opportunity just through us spreading out the word, us as a team, or you even amongst your peers, which is great. Then what are some of the
Do you
benefits
mind
of
if I
being?
chime in on that
Go
last
for
one
it.
really fast?
Yeah.
So one really important thing that I had no idea about in high school and learned over time was that a lot of things, especially like because I'm not in a STEM-based major, a lot of my internship opportunities or job opportunities were highly connected with things outside of California, meaning no one in my high school network really had any connections to those things. And the reason President Scholars has been really beneficial to me is that we have a very strong alumni basis, and that has been connected through our President Scholars Student Association. We have many events where like we can connect you with a mentor. I think I signed up for every opportunity that there was, and now I have like 3 alum mentors that I got through the program. And then there's a variety of alum that I've met, like one alum, because I'm looking at law school, who was a first year at Harvard Law when I was a sophomore in high school. So I was able to get connected with her through someone else who knew her. And like being able to see that, like, because President Scholars is so old, we have a lot of people in a lot of places. So it's a really great opportunity to get like those extra connections that are harder to find when you're just a student on campus, which you can still find, but it's just a more thorough and deeper in connection.
We talked a lot about the benefits. I think some of the long-term benefits too are some of the things Kira just shared. So the engagement of our alumni and the network that exists after that is what I would consider the long-term benefits. So their alumni are deeply connected to campus. They come back, they want to engage as mentors to our current scholars. They mentor each other even. There is a broad connection of mentors in a variety of different fields. Some that were connected to their academic field of study, some that were not, and now they're done a whole different career path. So there are folks in every different realm that you can connect with through this program that has been around for over 40 years at this point. So there's a broad network of alumni that you can connect with. And then one of the questions I think the scholars could answer is, how has President Scholars Program helped your college career and development as a whole? I see you getting pointed at, Jenna.
That's like, oh, because I'm in my 4th year now, and so I'm graduating, and I'm going to be going to grad school in the fall, and so it's like it's hard to pinpoint everything. Like, I guess starting from the beginning, like coming in as a Pres Scholar, it was really nice having like a cohort of students, but also those mentors who are older than me. And so I like from the first, not even the first day stepping on campus, because we were connected to everyone before that, like over the summer. So I feel like the transition to college was a lot easier. I had friends coming into campus, and not just that, but I have the physical space on campus with the center. Like between classes on my first day, I knew immediately who to go to. I was like late to my first class my first day because like parking sucked, but like I was able to go to the center, and like I was like freaking out to all the older students and older scholars. So like I think the social community has been really important, but also with those connections I made, I got involved in student government because the ASI president, the student body president, was a Pres Scholar at the time. So that's how I got involved in student government. And I originally wasn't in student government in high school, and it wasn't something I ever really thought of, but I got involved in it, and it's actually like shaped my career path. So I'm really interested in studying like inequality in higher ed. And so, yeah, again, that all came about because of my connections through Pres Scholars. So yeah, it's kind of changed my life in that way.
Good, that's awesome. Kira, anything to add?
Yeah, kind of similar to Jenna. It's like you're coming in with like knowing a bunch of upperclassmen, which is really helpful. That really shaped my path as well, because I knew I was on a pre-law path, but I had no idea like what I was getting. And definitely like when you're in high school and you're determining what schools you want to go to and you're doing the pros and cons, it's hard to know the full scope of a university before you actually choose it. And when I came to Fullerton, most of my decision was based off of the information I learned in my interview as in my President Scholars interview. And so I kind of just like took a leap because Fullerton was so local to me. I didn't really put much effort into thinking about it. And but now that I'm here, and now that I've experienced what I've experienced here, and the programs that I've been able to get involved with, and the amount of activities I've been able to get involved with, and the support that I've gotten through this program, not just as an individual student trying to pursue all these things alone, has made this like just leaps and bounds beyond what I could have imagined my college experience to be when I was estimating it as a senior. So I definitely think that, remember that your like perspective right now is very limited, but it's going to expand so much when you get into college in terms of what your career is going to shape up to be, because now I'm looking at totally different things than I was 4 years ago. And being willing to, like, if you get this opportunity and you decide to do it, you're going to make the most of it.
That's awesome. I know you both talked a lot about it, but is there anything else that you would share relating to this next question, which what things can you get involved in while being a part of the President Scholars Program? Other things maybe that you haven't shared yet.
Well, there's like, so for everyone's like career path, there's always different things to do. Like for myself, I knew I did mock trial in high school. I was not good at it, but then I came to Cal State Fullerton and there was moot court, which is like mock trial, but in front of the Supreme Court. I had no idea what I was doing and ended up doing very well. So like there's like opportunities like that. That's just for law, but I have friends who are in engineering and they were able to really connect with the professors. And then one of my friends who's in the program, who's also a senior, interned with NASA and Amazon. And we have like other scholars in the program who done, well, like Jenna was talking about ASI, but like I know people who use ASI as a point to go into like political advocacy. And I also know that like there are the professor connections that you can have also help you get into like different research. We had a scholar 2 years ago who graduated who was doing like this really insane, I don't understand it because it's STEM related, but research on a disease that sounds bad. And so she got to do some really cool research on that as like a freshman or sophomore. And she was highlighted from the time that I knew her multiple times for that research that she was doing for many years. So it's like figure out like, or even if you don't know what your career path is, like get involved and it'll help you figure that out because there's so many things.
Yeah, I feel like you could really do anything outside of President Scholars because it's not like President Scholars is meant to support you academically. So it's not like all your entire college life is devoted to President Scholars. Like you're encouraged to go out and like get involved in other opportunities. And I think a good thing about Cal State Fullerton being such a huge campus is that there are like hundreds of student organizations that you can get involved in. And like Jamie mentioned earlier, like Kira went and started her own club. So like, yeah, you can really do anything. But I guess if we wanted to name things specifically, historically, I know a lot of Pres Scholars have been RAs, so like resident advisors. So I mean, you're already getting your tuition covered, but you can go and be an RA and get your housing covered too, if that's something you want to do. I know a lot of us have actually worked on campus jobs. So like student assistants in like different departments. And it's also, again, that's kind of nice, is that since we're all pretty connected, like if a scholar is graduating, then they'll mention like within our Pres Scholar kind of community, like, hey, I'm graduating, this job's gonna be open, or sometimes those jobs might specifically be asking for a Pres Scholar to work it. So those are just some. And then also I'm part of University Honors. I think there's a sizable amount of Pres Scholars who are also in the University Honors program as well, and also business honors. So, but yeah, there's really everything. And then also there's the diversity initiatives resource center that's like right next to the Center for Scholars. So if you're really interested in community engaging work, that's also available to you, but pretty much anything.
Very, very true. All right, our next set of questions. So what is expected of those who become part of this program? So I really highlighted the technical parts of it, which is like maintaining academic rigor, completing your classes, being a part of the Center for Scholars by completing those requirements. But additionally, it's kind of what the general or of what Kira and Jenna talked about, which is being involved and connected. It's not specifically written out. There's no like rule about it, but you get out of these programs what you put in. So if you are seeking community, seeking connection, seeking friendships, seeking mentoring, you put out that you're seeking those things and they will come to you. And if you stay invested and connected, you will find those opportunities. And so our most successful scholars are the scholars who are those ones who continue to come to it to find opportunities that they can give back, but also ways that they can benefit from the program too. So those expectations really are taking on leadership opportunities, stepping up if there is a way that you can step up, taking on a leadership role with the present scholars, or identifying ways you can build connections with the department staff, different things like that. So those are the unexpected expectations of present scholars. Often the campus sees our present scholars as university leaders. And so they will ask us to participate in campus events and say, hey, do any present scholars want to volunteer for this campus event? And so I'll send out the call and people will sign up and attend. And so you get some opportunities to engage in things that other students may not because of this program, but you have to be willing to step into those opportunities and take advantage of them as well. And the next question is, what are the yearly requirements and the advantages? I talked a bit about the yearly requirements. Does either Kira or Jenna want to share about the advantages about being a present scholar and taking advantage of those requirements?
One thing so the requirements have kind of shifted since like we've started out, but I guess one of the ones that this one's not in place anymore, but I think it did encourage me to go talk to my professors. So before we would have to like do a progress update in the middle of the semester, we would go check in with our professors. And coming in as a freshman, I was like, what the heck are office hours? Like, what do I even talk about? But it was kind of nice having that because it forced me to go to office hours, and I learned how to like figure out what questions to ask and how to engage with professors. And I think, and then outside of that too, since we have so many workshops throughout the year, I'm like we have different topics. So one that I went to last semester was about writing a personal statement for grad school. So there's different tips about navigating college and life afterwards too, that is just like built into the program. And so, yeah, that's like one advantage that I'd name. But there's like a few, there's like, or not a few, there's like a lot aside from the one I named.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of just similar to what Jenna was saying. The big one for me was like connecting with professors through office hours. And I think the check-ins like forced me to do that. Because sometimes you're like, I don't want to go, especially when COVID hit. And it was kind of awkward to go to office hours online because no one did. So I mean, even more so than in person. So it was a good excuse to be able to like talk to my professors. I think another pro Fullerton thing I have to say about that is that I was really, really like bent on going to a small school because I wanted that very close connection with my professors. That was something I thrived off of in high school, and I knew that in college it's really difficult to maintain those kind of relationships. And Fullerton has been like very surprising in the sense that like we are an insanely huge campus, but the way our classes operate are very much like a small school. I know like pretty much any professor that I wanted to know, I know, and they know me, and I've taken them 2 years later and they still remember me. So there are ways to like really stay really well connected with your professors. And like, I think again, these requirements just help reaffirm that.
Kind of going off of that too, since Pres Scholars has been around for so long, there's like a legacy kind of. And so some professors already know what Pres Scholars are. So for my major, I'm a communication disorders major. And like coming in, I don't even take my major classes until like my junior year, but I met with our department chair my first year just because there's two Pres Scholars. They graduated now, but they're also my major. So they introduced me to the department chair, and then she was really excited to meet with us. And I think we met with her pretty much every year. She dedicated time just to meet with us, since the past Pres Scholars who were in our major were just phenomenal students. And so there's these pathways already paved for us. And so that's an advantage too.
Is definitely true. And then the timeline of events for the program. So that's a kind of broad question. I'm like, ooh, that is interesting. There is stuff year round for scholars. We try to keep things primarily tailored to the fall and spring semesters. The only time there is stuff in summer is our Scholar Smart Start, which is right before the semester begins. And so we'll share that information with students as you come on board. Otherwise, the stuff is kind of, if it's not in the primary semester time, it's opt-in stuff. There's a lot of things that the org can do based on student interest over summer to engage students. The Present Scholar Student Association can do things, but sometimes it's informal things where students are connecting with their peer mentors or their friends that they've developed. But throughout this semester, we try to build in our requirements so that you don't have them all at once. They're not all coming up due at the end. We try to stagger things so they build on each other, but that you can kind of get some stuff done early when things are a little bit lighter and easier, work your way towards completing your primary goals. So it kind of aligns with the semester. We all know, I know I'm a procrastinator, so I often will leave things to the last possible second if possible, even if it's to my own detriment. So we try to build in some deadlines to avoid some of that procrastination that many of us do and thrive in. So I'm not sure if I'm exactly answering that question, and hopefully that student that asked it can share a bit more about that in a second. And then what is the best advice you can give for an applicant for your program? Kira or Jenna, any thoughts?
I think one of the things that really helps, because I guess the next step would be the interview. Like when I went into that interview, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know what I was advocating for. I just knew the premise of this program. And the one thing that someone told me seconds before my interview while I was waiting was a current president scholar was reminding me of those pillars. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it is. And it makes sense when you think of it in that perspective, is that things that we're trying to highlight in this position are maintaining the community within President's Scholars and our network ahead, focusing on community engagement, so service aspects, and looking at your academic success. So these like 3 things I remember just keeping very close in mind. And I think if you can figure out a way of how you want to engage yourself academically, a way you want to engage yourself with service issues, a way you want to engage yourself on community issues on campus, and a way you want to engage yourself with the social community that President Scholars gives you. And if you have an answer for that, I think that puts you in a really, really positive position, because essentially you're showing how you fit into this program. And again, knowing that if you get this acceptance, you're not like, yay, free ride. You're like, yay, free ride, and all these other things that are going to benefit me career-wise and my future and moving on. You're already positioned ahead of like so many students on campus. So valuing that.
I was going to say the same thing. That was the first thing that came to mind, was just the pillars of our program, because if you have a history of like aligning with that, and also you have a vision of implementing those pillars into your college career, then like that would make you, like what Kira said, it's not just, oh cool, I'm in, like I don't have to pay tuition, but now it's like I also have this community that's going to like shape my college career into like what I want it to be. And so I think that kind of ties into like my bigger piece of just being confident in who you are, because I mean, like, yeah, don't lie, don't make things up about like community service, or like don't make up your values when you go into it, because I mean, one, if you get it, like, are you gonna feel good about that? Because that's not like your true self that you are accepted for. But also it's just like I know how hard like you all work to even put together that application, so I know you are deserving. And as long as you like go and be like your best self, your authentic self, like you should be proud, because you've put together an application, and you've like that in itself is a lot. Putting to like applying to the CSU is a couple clicks of a button, but being able to write out the application, the essays, it's it's an accomplishment in itself.
And then our last slide here before our contact information is some more advice from some of our scholars. So Kira wrote this out. Kira, do you want to read what you wrote? She's like, no.
Yeah, I didn't even remember writing this. There are so many benefits about Fullerton that really make it stand out compared to the other schools you've probably applied to. See what you can get from this school, and I'll bet it'll expand once you come here.
Perfect. And then Kate shared that being a part of President Scholars has made her transition to college so much smoother. The community within the program is like nothing else. And then Kylie shared to trust yourself, that the interview can be intimidating, but know that you are here, she meant here, for a reason, and just be yourself. Not heat, that's not the right word. And then our contact information. So I put my email address up on there. You can email me directly at jehamilton@fullerton.edu, or you can also email scholars@fullerton.edu. And then our Instagram account is CSUF Scholars. And then President Scholars is CSUF PSSA, because I saw that in the chat. Are there any questions that you all have? Grace asked, are there any specific classes or assignments that President Scholars requires? So the answer would be no. We have our Smart Start program, like I shared, that does have a class, but we that is highly encouraged. Like we say it like soft required. We know people have a lot going on, and so you may not be able to attend it. But that's the only time we would ever have like a class requirement. Otherwise, it's if you opt into honors or something like that, they would have course requirements, but we do not. And then our requirements are listed as assignments on Canvas. They're not actually assignments, they're just requirements. I can't change the word. They're like, you have to use this word. I'm like, okay, sounds very academic, which we try not to be. We try to be like, we're the fun side of academics. Any other questions? You're welcome, Grace. All right, anything else that Kira, Jenna, Darcy, I guess anyone wants to share before we wrap it up? Darcy's good. Ooh, Arnold asked, will we be notified if applicants have been accepted for interview. Yeah, I'm going to notify everybody to let you know your status of where you're at. So you will for sure get a communication from me this week. If you're offered an interview or if I'm waiting to give you an offer for an interview. I always expect that we're at that time where you all are hearing back from multiple schools. So someone will eventually turn me down, and hopefully that creates an opportunity for someone else who wants to take advantage of the opportunity. So I say, be upfront and honest with me. I have heard it all. So if you decide, you know what, I don't want to do this, respect and let me move on to the next student. Yeah, I'll try to be as upfront with you all as I can. Sometimes I'm like, I'm waiting for one person to get back to me before I tell you all, but I will work on it. And if you have questions about it and you're waiting to hear from me, feel free to shoot out and I'm happy to answer the question. Let me close the participants tab so I can just see the chat. Is the interview for other programs or just President Scholars? It is just for President Scholars. So if you applied to multiple programs, you may be invited back for another interview, with an asterisk being if you applied for a Brago Future Scholars, and you didn't get President Scholars, we may automatically admit you to Brago Future Scholars. So it's kind of a wait and see. That one, the Brago Future Scholars interviews later towards the month of April. So there'll be a little bit more time. And would there be President Scholars stand at, we will not be tabling for President Scholars at the Welcome to Cal State Fullerton Day. We will be there promoting our foster youth programs that day. So we will not be tabling for that. If you happen to see Guardian Scholars and you're around, you can come by and say hi. We will be there, but we will be there for our foster youth students that day. You're welcome, Arnold. And then Jackson had a question or a comment for Jenna and Kira. You talked a bit about the personal connections and friendships you made in PS. Can you talk a bit more about the program's student culture as a whole?
Yeah, I'll start off. But I mean, I know Jenna talked about like kind of the friendships that you can make. We all first met when we went to the incoming outgoing event in May. I don't know if the timeline's different now, but that was the timeline back then. And we got to get acquainted with our cohort and also the seniors who were leaving. And I think at the time they invited a few other intermediate students who were also scholars. But immediately when I walked in the door to these random people with my mom next to me, which was already an additional awkward situation, these students were so nice, like so inviting and so kind. They were like giving me hugs. It's like, I don't know who you are, but okay. And now it's a post-COVID world, so you may not get a hug, but you will still get that kind of warm, inviting feel from the students. When I came in the fall and I didn't have any friends, and I was like, it was hard to make friends in my classes because it's a commuter campus. So unless you get involved, it's really hard to make friends. I was going from my house to school to class and then going back home and watching Gossip Girl in the middle. And so like I needed to do something else. So going to the center was great because there were so many older scholars who would hang out in the center. And we used to play games and we used to hang out, we used to talk. And like those people have graduated 3+ years now. And I'm still like in close contact with a lot of them. I think the biggest thing that this community aspect of the scholars program offers is that everyone wants to see everyone succeed. And you know, COVID kind of messed up those connections a little bit in terms of it's harder to connect with people over a Zoom screen. But if you're here and you, again, as Darcy and Jamie have mentioned time and time again, if you make yourself available to these opportunities and you put yourself out there, which is scary, but kind of necessary, because yes, it was nice to hide in my room and watch Gossip Girl my entire first semester. But when I started coming on campus and talking to other people, I actually made friends. So, you know, it's an important thing to do in terms of like opening yourself up, just like you're opening yourself up to this opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I know we're like still rebuilding our community coming back from COVID, but like my freshman year or my first year, it was like there's always people in the center. I mean, there's always people in the center, but there was like Pres scholars like always at this one table. And so whenever you go to the center, it's like we're all there. And then you get to meet Pres scholars you didn't know before, that are like older. And we'd have bananagrams, we'd play that too at the table. And I ended up, so I was also kind of like here where my first semester, I didn't live close enough to campus where I could just go home in between classes. So like I was like introverted and nervous. And so I just like napped in my car between classes. And then I think one time I ended up coming into the center and I like shared that to one of the like junior scholars. And she was like, oh my gosh, like you don't have to do that. Like come eat lunch with us instead of like eating lunch in your car. And so from there, I just started spending more time in the center. And then from there too, they started an ultimate frisbee, like not even a club. It was just like an informal hangout with other Pres scholars. They started a Facebook group and I was in it. And every Friday they'd come yeah, I went a few times. And so it was really nice. So, like that's like the student culture. Like we're all really supportive of each other academically. We share these opportunities that are available to us with each other. And but we all have fun together too. And that's really important. So it's not just supporting each other academically, but also like personally.
I think you could easily run the risk of a group of high achieving scholars being pretty competitive, but they're not. I think they're pretty supportive and inclusive. And like there's some students that are in the performing arts, so they will come together and go watch a student in a play, like in one of the performances on campus, or this student's going to go do a talk, let's all go. So they'll get together a group of students from diverse, different majors, different backgrounds together, which is kind of neat and an opportunity you may not have. Like you may not ever, if you're not an engineering major, when would you talk to an engineering major? Well, you would if you're in the scholar programs. So you get to build these connections across, but then it's a collective opportunity too, where you come together as a group. We have the Present Scholars Student Organization has their monthly meetings. So you get to connect with people that maybe you don't always see in the center because they're so busy, but they come over for the meetings. So there's lots of opportunities to connect and build those connections across the scholar community at large, which is great. Jackson says, thank you, Kira and Jenna. And then Bella asked, what are some specific questions that are asked in the interview process that could be important for us to prepare for? So I shared a little bit about it on the interview details slide. So specifically, you will get asked about why did you choose your major? And why did you choose Cal State Fullerton and or the Scholar Program? So you can definitely be prepared to be asked that. And you can answer it in any variety of different ways. Really, they want to know who you are. And so that's pretty generic. And then too, there'll probably be some other, like, if you just search interview, scholarship interview, you will probably find some questions that we probably will ask, because there's only so many different ways you can ask the same things, but it's never anything super intimidating. There will be a silly question that you get asked, something to kind of just break the ice. So that you can see that it's not that serious. Don't be nervous. But again, like I shared, it's just to learn more about who you are, what you're interested in, why do you want to be a part of this opportunity, and what opportunities would this opportunity create for you? So having this, would this help you get an in your major, or something that you like heard today from Kira or Jenna that got you excited that you might be able to take advantage of that you didn't know before because of this scholar opportunity. So those are the types of things you'll probably get asked about. And like I said, it's nothing super serious. And if they feel that you are like, they need to help you, they will help you. They want you to be just as successful in the interview, and they will ask more questions. And usually what ends up happening is everyone's talking so long that I'm like, hi guys, we got to go. They need to leave. They got somewhere to be. And we have another student waiting. So yeah, they're a chatty bunch. So it shouldn't be super intimidating. But yeah, any other questions that folks have?
Jamie, I just want to tag on that real quick.
Yes.
We're only going to ask you questions you have the answers to. We promise.
Yes.
There are no tricks. So
No.
you know how to, like, you're basically telling your story. And so let yourself shine through, whether you choose virtual or in person. And honestly, like, as Jamie said before, like, that is up to you as far as if you were asked for an interview. So don't feel like one is going to do better for the other. Like, everyone's busy. You got lives, and some of you may be coming from far away. So we got that. But we're not going to trick you. That's not our goal. That's really not our goal.
Yeah, we definitely want you to be just as successful as we know you all are. You already put it all in your applications. So we want you to highlight that stuff. We want you to do your best in the interview as possible. So, and you already have it. You already did it. So it's just another way of you telling us now instead of just showing us. Yeah.
Can I chime in on experience really quick?
Mm-hmm.
So just really quick, if you've never been on campus before, or you're curious to see what the dorms are like, a campus tour, a housing tour, there's also a resource fair component. So Jamie mentioned that we're going to be there for Guardian Scholars, but if at any point you want to chat, let's say with Disability Support Services or any of our other campus partners, that's a great opportunity to chat with them as well as your department. So the colleges are going to be there that day. So if at any point you just kind of want to chat with someone, put a face to the name, to a department or what have you, that's a great opportunity for you all to come and join us too.
Yes, if you can make it out to experience CSUF Day, it's a great day for you to see things and ask questions and be curious about what campus has to offer. Too, if you participate in the interview and someone was talking about a thing, you probably can find out more about that at the actual experience this CSUF Day. Yeah, anything else, folks?
Actually, CSUF Day was really, really impactful for me because I learned about some of the study abroad programs and things like that. So those are things that like you can find out more information about right then and there from the people leading those programs, which again, that information is available when you're a student, but they're the most pitchy about it at this event. My parents even like remembered one of the professors we spoke to. And when I like reunited with him as a senior, they were like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. So it can be really good for creating connections before you're even a student here.
It's just exciting to see the stuff that you could potentially do and to see yourself here at Cal State Fullerton. If that's your goal, you can see yourself in those spaces, get your family excited about it too, in a way well before you had come for like orientation or anything like that. So it's nice to kind of see that before you finish high school. You get to kind of see that and get excited about the next step instead of being like, well, I guess we're doing this next. You get to know and feel excited about it instead of being like, okay, I do the next thing now. You know, we want, and again, the same thing with the scholar program. We try to build those connections early and often, like Kira mentioned as well, so that you get connected to your peers, so that you, again, continue to be excited about what's coming and stay motivated, building those relationships. So again, you know those spaces like Jenna talked about, when you can come to campus, find us in these spaces, know where we're at. When you need to see a face or you're lost or freaking out about something, stop in here. We can talk you through it, help you figure out your way. Someone's always late to their first day of class, so you're not alone, Jenna. There's always somebody late to their first day of classes. So yeah, lots of great opportunities and connections to be had by all. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that you got a lot of information. Like I said, we're recording it, so we'll send out the link. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, and we hope to see you all very soon. Thank you for joining us. Bye, everyone.